Morning. So I seen this, I'm gonna call it a situation or a dispute. I don't exactly know what to call it. I seen a dispute going around on social media. I want to preface this by saying that my opinions on this situation are solely my opinions. I'm only saying that because the person that it involves is a fellow colleague and it is a local colleague. So I just wanted to be known that this is not coming from a judgmental place. This is not speaking on that individual and her business at all. This is just solely speaking on myself, what I would have done in the situation, only because I've been sent this story by a few people, and a lot of people have been kind of asking for my 2 cents. So I'm coming from a place of commentary. I'm not coming from a place of judgment or even a place of suggestion, because everybody runs their business differently. Okay, so I'm going to start with that. Okay, so there is a situation going around where a fellow stylist canceled someone's appointment due to the client not being able to hold their head correctly. I'm not even going to say not being able to, maybe not willing to, I don't know. So the gist of what I got from it, from what I've seen, was that the young lady, just got frustrated and was like, look, like she pretty much, like, she said that she was going to the bathroom and she went to her car and she did not come back, and she just let her know, like, look, I'm tired. You're not holding your hair right. Your hair is way too thick. It's not going to come out right. This is not working. Pretty much in a nutshell, like, I'm going to go ahead and cancel your appointment and your deposit has been refunded to you. Okay. The people involved, whether it was, I don't know who the young lady is, but I did see that, like, someone on Twitter was like, oh, my cousin got scammed, yada, yada, yada. And, yeah. So, my 2 cents. As a stylist, I completely understand her plight. I do. It gets very frustrating when a certain experience or a certain amount of quality is expected, and the party receiving the service is not holding up their end of it or whatever, or they're not cooperating, right? A lot of us run into the issue of people not correctly holding their heads because they're in their phone, or I've had some clients where literally, like, you could be molding their ponytail and you tell them, hey, like, I'll tell you ahead of time. For instance, if I'm molding a high ponytail, I'll say, hey, so you're gonna feel the urge to put your head down because I'm molding it, but if you put your head down and pick it back up, you're gonna have a bump in the back. So just try to hold your head as straight up as you possibly can. I know it's gonna feel awkward, it's not gonna feel right, it ain't gonna feel natural, but just trust me, because it's gonna look like it's supposed to look when I'm done. And a lot of people go, oh, okay, no problem. So, there's certain, let's say that a client is getting the lemonade braids to the side. You have to hold your head a specific way or your braid is not gonna look right. That braid may be turned in the back or what have you. And what a lot of people don't understand is holding your head incorrectly also takes a toll on our wrist, because now we're trying to adjust to you as well as our backs. So, imagine if you're doing a 5 to 8 to 10 to sometimes even 12-hour service, and someone can't hold their head or is not holding their head how you need them to. That can cause a lot of problems all the way around, right? And then, I also understand where sis is saying, like, I don't have the patience to be telling a grown person over and over and over and over and over again to please put your head up or please put your head down or turn your head this way. Like, I don't run into it too much. I do have some clients where, like, for instance, I have one of my regulars has a bad back. So we will never do a ponytail. We'll never do any kind of braid service that requires her to put her head down for an extended period of time, because she's not gonna be able to do it. She fidgets in the chair just getting a ponytail, which is a 2-hour service. And I'm able to deal with that, but it's practice over time. And I'm not gonna lie, sometimes it still irritates me. So I completely understand sis's perspective. I understand her grievance. That's why I said this is not a place to judge. I like to put my 2 cents in from a place of understanding on both sides, right? Now, as far as the client goes, I can understand how if you are expecting to get a service, you know, someone just like leaves out on you and cancels on you, you're just sitting there like, okay, well, what do I do now? You know, and a lot of clients nowadays are not, for whatever reason, whether it's PTSD, whether it's just misplaced anger, whatever. First of all, a lot of human beings are dark energies nowadays, let alone someone, if they're, you know, people are a lot more irate and aggressive now when they feel offended or they feel disrespected or whatever. A lot of people are not willing to take that on the chin anymore. And I'm not saying that you have to, but I'm just saying, like, stylists as service providers, we have to be careful. I'm seeing a lot of people get assaulted simply just because someone doesn't want to pay. I'm seeing people start things with service providers because they don't want to pay. Like, I don't know if you guys seen that video of the young man that did this lady's hair. He gave her what she wanted, even though he recommended against it. And then, even though her hair, to me, it didn't look crazy, but she was just like, oh, this is horrible, this is fucking ugly, yada, 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 I'm not paying for this. And she was like, she was really like verbally berating him and was like, I'm not paying you this, you're gonna take this, you know. So I just say that to say that in the world, period, there's a lot of dark energies around. There's a lot of people allowing dark energies to take over their spirit and their psyche. So you just have to be careful with how you deal with people. For myself, the way that I usually deal with situations such as this, and I would just recommend this in the future for anybody watching this, just for your own safety, to be honest with you, is when you are dealing with a difficult client, I feel like unless that client is a threat to your safety, just finish the service out to the best of your ability and block that person. That way, it's a how do I want to say this? Like, you've severed the relationship, you've severed the business partnership, but there's no, you're not putting yourself in harm's way in the process. There are people in this world that will literally hate you or have a vendetta against you just because you don't want to take their money. I've seen it. And we know not all money is good money, you know? So I would just say, like, when you run into situations like that, if that person texts you and says, hey, such and such, I was trying to book an appointment with you, but I see that I'm unable to book on the site. I've had this happen before. That is when you take the opportunity, and you also need to know, like, who and what you're dealing with, right? So you have some clients where they may not even try. Okay, for instance, like I told the story about the client that was a regular, never gave me any issues, but I banned her because she pretended to send me a payment instead of just telling me that she didn't have the money ahead of time and giving me the option to decide whether I wanted to take her or not. So with her, of course, she was banned. And the reason I banned her is because you didn't have to do me like that. You pretended like you sent the money. You sat in my face and acted like you sent me the money. I had to say something to you in order for you to send me the money. And then I had to wait until midnight to get my payment. That's just not how I do things. So I expressed that to her. Hey, you know, this is why you've been blocked. You know, this is not how I do things. You didn't have to go about it like that. I would have worked with you. This is a person that has gone to me 1,000,001 times before and never gave me an issue. It wouldn't have been an issue for me. You know, I also feel like, you know, when you have a certain relationship and rapport with your regulars, you'll look out for them in a way that you don't look out for people that have never come to you before. And I, you know, from a compassionate place, I understand that she may have been, you know, embarrassed or whatever, but you, at the end of the day, you try to finesse me through the appointment, right? So for her, I was able to come to her and say, hey, XYZ, whatever, and there was no disrespect on either end. Now, I've also had some clients where I had a lady that was uber tender-headed to the point where I couldn't even understand why she wanted to get braids in the first place. Because I'm telling you, it was so bad that, like, and this lady was really tall, and so it was so bad that, like, every time I, you know, hit a kink or something with the blow dryer, she's kicking my wall. Like, you know, and I was frustrated. But at the same time, it's like, you know, maybe she really wanted her hair braided. I think she tried to sit through it, but it just didn't work for me. And that's okay. But I didn't, you know, like I said, I made it through the appointment, but I ended up banning her. And if she was to ever ask, I would just explain to her, like, hey, you know what? Some clients, I will ban them just so that they can reach out and we can have a conversation and they can decide if they want to proceed. So I may just say, hey, last time we did this, this, and this, and I don't want you in any kind of pain going through your appointment. It's also how you word things, right? So I think another way that it could have been gone about is, to let the client know, hey, you know what? I'm having a really hard time finishing your hair, and I really need you to hold your head. If not, if you can't, we're gonna have to cancel the service. Let them know ahead of time. Once again, I want to keep saying that I was not there, so I cannot speak on what happened. I cannot say what she did or did not tell this lady to do, or if she did or did not warn this lady. I cannot say any of that because I was not there. This is not my client. I am solely going off of what I seen on social media. That is it. And like I said, I'm also not coming from a place of judgment, because there's so many things that I've had to learn. There's so many mistakes that I've made in my business. There's a lot of people, I'm sure, that no longer come to me that also have had a bad taste in their mouth about how I handled things in the past. That's the whole idea. When you know better, you do better. Not, once again, not judging this young lady. I'm just saying that, I'm a person that I'll reach out to clients and say, hey, I had this situation happen. How would you guys have recommended I have dealt with this? Or how would you have liked this to be dealt with? Sometimes, even when you are the stylist and the client, sometimes it's hard to see the other person's point of view because you're just so frustrated about how it turned out for you. You know what I mean? So for me, I feel like, this situation, any situation could have been handled differently, but I also understand just being frustrated. I always say, like, I have a thing that once it stops becoming fun, or once it stops being fun for me, I no longer want to do it. So that means that if I'm not enjoying my service, I can't give you the best service that I would give you, because you've made this an unenjoyable experience for me, right? So at that point, like I said, for me, it really just comes from a place of just protecting yourself, protecting your business, protecting your safety. You have to go to this place every day. There are some people in this world that are batshit crazy, and they will book with you under a different name or a different number or whatever, just to find you, just to create funk, all because some people cannot stand to be rejected, right? So I just say that to say, like, everybody's going to do what's best for them in the moment, but sometimes we have to take a step back and just think of the long term. I totally, completely understand. I totally understand her being tired. I totally understand her being frustrated. We have all been there as service providers in any aspect, right? I'm not going to sit up here and act like I'm the perfect client. I'm pretty sure I get on people's nerves too. But if someone asks me, hey, turn your head this way, or, hey, can you hold your hand like this, or whatever it is, I try to be mindful of those things. I feel like some people, there's clients with a level of resentment towards service providers because they're used to dealing with unprofessional ones. So by the time that they get to somebody that really does care about what they're doing and they are particular, there's a level of defiance there, because it's just like, oh my God, I'm grown. Like, you don't have to tell me to do this, this, and this. And it's just like, no one's telling you this to sun you. We're telling you these things because in order for us to give you the best result, this is what we need from you. You know what I mean? So I think that's what it is. Like, my goal is just to try to bridge the gap between clients and service providers, and for us to understand both sides of the equation and understand, make this a copacetic relationship between all of us, right? Like, there's not going to be, yes, we know every stylist is not going to be professional. Every client is not going to be easy to deal with. But I think for those of us that are out there, clients alike, clients and hairstylists and service providers alike, I think that there's a way for us to not only find each other, but to also, have compassion for each other and look at both sides of the equation. So that is my 2 cents on that. I would love to hear what you guys think. Please keep the comments respectful on both ends. I do delete anything that seems disrespectful. I do delete arguments. We do not do that on my page. And like I said, I do consider this person, any fellow service provider, I consider a colleague. But if this person is seeing this, I don't want her to feel attacked. I don't want her to feel like, from anybody, whether it's myself or anybody else, I don't want them to feel like it's a shot at them, it's a shot at their business, or they're being judged. So that is that. That is my 2 cents, and I will talk to y'all later. Have a beautiful day.